Hey, boys and girls, Doug Childs here. It's Warriors Rich
and Wildman. What's up, Doug?
Well, one thing that I learned last night after the election results is that my gift of prophecy really, really sucks, Rich. Unless we get a curveball and ipso facto, man, I'm talking number 45, DJT, is going to remain in the Oval Office. He's going to sit behind that Resolute desk where Bill and Monica bumped uglies for 4 more years. It remains to be seen, man. It's sure kind of weird what went down last night, and I want to hear your thoughts about it because I'm kind of with the president, man. You know, he's sitting there watching this incredible spike in swing states. Everybody, all the polls said that he was going to be crushed by double digits. And then all of a sudden, man, you see him ascend and ascend and ascend. And then, boom, Fox News, my favorite news channel, starts calling states like Arizona, and there's like, 1 million votes that still hadn't been counted. They're like, Biden's going to win. And on and on and on. They would never call anything for Trump. And I'm like, this really seems weird. It's like they're trying to influence an election, Rich. But I could be wrong. Jesus is still Lord. But what think ye, my brother?
Well, I want to read something. I know I sent it to you. I texted to you. Oh, first of all, I call BS on all this stuff. But I got a lot more to say than that.
Hey, did you know that?
So basically, I wrote a post yesterday on Facebook at the beginning, right at the beginning, before anything was going down. And I said, get ready for misinformation and misdirection by the media, including Fox, in an effort to a last-ditch effort to influence the election. And I called it. And let me tell you, I despise Fox. I hate Fox Network. There's 2 people on Fox that I like. I like Tucker, obviously, and I also like Greg Gutberg. Is that his name? Gutberg? Gutfeld? Whatever his name is. That guy's cool. Gutberg. I'm just pissed. I can't even think. I'm so mad.
Yeah.
And I like him. He's cool. You know, he has a good perspective. But Fox is a liberal douchebag network. And I probably stopped watching Fox other than Tucker and once in a while, Greg, I stopped watching Fox probably close to a year ago. Because they suck just like the rest of them. It's a business. That's the problem. The guy that we had on our podcast, Mood, when he was on here, he said, remember, the news is a business, and they'll do whatever it takes to get people to watch. And so they're just trying to make money. They don't give 2 rips about the truth anymore.
Check this out. DC Drano, you follow him over on Instagram?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you got to. He's got great posts, man. He's an advocate for everything that's holy, just, and true, and funny mofo as well. He reposted a tweet from Mike Yoder, and he said, "While we were sleeping last night, children, Michigan just happened to find, I'll be damn rich, they just happened to find 138,399 ballots, and lo and behold, abracadabra, all 138,399 ballots just happen to be votes for Joe Biden." So, nothing to see here, folks. No votes for Trump in all the ones that they find. And
that stuff. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's,
did you want me to just lose my mind now? Because I will.
Yeah, you can
why don't you? Okay, here's my thought.
Let's play a little more, and you can get more angry and angry.
First,
and then completely explode, bro.
Furious at Christians.
Yeah.
In America, we could say whatever we want, but Christians can decide what's going on, and we have too many woke pastors and joke churches that isn't even worth a squirt of piss for the kingdom. And not even for our culture. There's zero influence, zero impact. They're losers. Just like we talked about Piper. He could stuff it in his Piper. These freaking guys, man, they call themselves Christians. And you know what they care about? Catering to culture. Mega churches are nothing but mega businesses catering to cultures to get butts in seat, dollars in the bank. They don't give two rips about the gospel. If your gospel is progressing, you are a part of a false religion.
Hey, amen, brother. Here's something.
And I'm going to get meaner and madder, probably the rest of my life. That's what I decided this morning.
Yeah, so here's what I'm thinking about in regards to the churches. They're like, we're not going to tell anybody who to vote for, and they try to
Because they got
act,
no balls.
and then they're trying to be all prudent and wise and all this other stuff, and just focus on Jesus. They're about to see what is going to occur under a radical Marxist agenda that Biden's the carrier pigeon for. Just think of this:
If he gets elected, if he gets in there.
so if they steal it, and again, the polls so off. And listen, Warriors and Wild Men, our enthusiasts, our beloved, our junkies, please note how bad we were lied to in the polls by the media,
Everybody,
and never forget it. And again, we had a blistering example in 2016, another hogwash example in 2020. Complete lies, complete bullshit. And if any other thing comes out of this election, again, I hope that there will be an indelible stain in our listening audience that every time they start yapping, you believe the opposite of what they say. So anyway,
well, did you know that a lot of votes in Arizona, which Arizona went blue, which is, like we said, is unbelievable.
Right.
But the interesting thing is that a lot of people that I know personally went to go vote, and they were given fine point Sharpie markers, and it bled through their ballots, and their ballots weren't counted. And that was the only option for voting. Here you go, in their precinct where they went. And so if that's not, come on, man. Nobody knows that a Sharpie marker is going to bleed through. Because Sharpies, they're way cheaper than getting like a bucket of regular ballpoint pens or some big stick pens, right? That's intentional, bro. That's intentional.
Why are you guys using Sharpies to vote with? You don't have computerized...
Because they write with crayons because they're stupid.
Right.
They're just idiots. They're like, here's a pen version of a crayon, dummy.
So anyway, on the church stuff, Rich, when people are like, it doesn't matter, it's just Jesus, and it's like, you're going to find out it matters, because under the reign of Obama, we had national security disasters. You had the uptick of ISIS and the Caliphate and Al-Qaeda. Gay nightclubs are getting blown up, lots of churches and synagogues, mass murders within them. You're going to see all that stuff resurrect. I guarantee that if Biden's in the Oval Office, that there is some crazy lunatic Muslim terrorist with a full-on boner right now, just licking his chops just to get back into the United States of America and do dastardly deeds. You're already seeing an uptick in Western Europe, and that's with Trump in the Oval Office. I think you're going to see a spike in those kind of attacks. Also, I think the border and the drug cartels and all those that are running kids and drugs and taking over neighborhoods and cities. I think you're going to see a spike in that. So get ready, Christian. And remember that the Joe Biden and the Kamala Harris that you said it really didn't matter, their policies and Jesus is Lord. They hate Christians. They are coming for you. They're going to shut your church down. They're going to shut your speech down, and they're going to corral your little dumbass in the next 4 years into some squeeze play where you're forced to parrot their opinions and parrot their speech. So get ready. Yeah, get ready. Yeah, if it happens, and that old half-dead dumbass gets put in 1600 Penn Ave, then they're coming for you, man.
Yep.
You just made a weird bedfellow, you useful idiot.
Well, let me just jump right off the deep end and just get really crazy, okay?
Good, bro.
There's sins of commission and there's sins of omission. And so we can do things wrong, but not doing what we're supposed to do or doing right is also a sin.
Yeah,
and
James,
so not being
James said if you know to do right and you don't do it, well, guess what? You just effed up.
Right.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, that's a Doug Giles translation.
King Doug version?
But here's the crazy thing about that. So Christians are not getting involved. They're like, well, I don't know. And then they want to vote on social issues and stupid stuff. That's because they take their eye off the ball. The eye on the ball is supposed to be the kingdom. It's supposed to be preaching the gospel, freedom of religion, those type of things. But they forget, and then they start getting sucked up into the world and all their stupid views of everything, right? And so let me throw this out there. One of the problems is that the Democrats, like Dinesh D'Souza said on our podcast, they've become gangsterized. Not only have they been gangsterized, they become militarized. Now, a lame version, but they're doing it. You got Antifa and BLM, and they are literally military arms of the Democratic Party, designed to intimidate us and harass us and everything else. And they're obviously killing people. So, Doug, I don't know, in the Bill of Rights, talks about something about the right to bear arms shall not be infringed upon, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now see, we're allowed to do what's written in our Constitution as a Christian. So people think, well, you can't be a rebel, you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, wait a minute. Protesting is allowed. It's guaranteed. It's a guaranteed right in our Constitution. You know what else is a guaranteed right? Guns. And the reason that right is guaranteed so the government can't take away our rights. So you know what else is in the Bill of Rights, Doug? Pretty sure it says something about forming and keeping a well-trained militia. Mm-hmm. Now that militia, I don't know why people don't read for 5 minutes. That militia has nothing to do with the invasion of another country. That militia was written with the intent that when this government tries to take away our rights that were God-given and recognized by the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, that militia is established to defend those rights. So what I think Christians, if we get a reprieve, Trump gets in, fine, get ready. And I think if Biden gets in, get your guns, organize your militias. It's time for a revolution. When they tell me what I can't say, and when they try to take my gun, they better pick which order they want to do it, because this old boy right here, I may not be the best shot, but I could send a whole bunch of lead in the right direction. And I was talking to my friend yesterday, and I told him, what I lack in skill, I make up for in motivation. So I'm calling for Christians to get together with militias and get organized. And when they tell you what you can't say, you get your guns. That's what I'm saying. 100%.
Rich,
that's our Constitution.
Rich, you're a good shot, man. I've been hunting with you several times. I think I only saw you miss once on that Axis buck that was tucked way, way back under the trees. And you're like, how did I miss that? Because he was just standing there, just chewing his cud and just poof, missed it. And then you get up from the prone position, and Caleb and I are standing there with our binoculars, trying to console you because you're crying really hard.
I was pretty mad.
Yeah, so then all of a sudden, lo and behold, your frickin' stock was coming, detaching from the scope?
Yep.
I thought you had a stock.
The reticle was flopping inside the scope.
Yeah, so aside from that, man, don't beat yourself up. You are a good shot. And for the Christians who, thinking that Rich is cuckoo in regards to they're going to come and try to take our semi-automatic weapons, Biden said, dumbass, that he's going to appoint Beto O'Rourke. I'm talking about Robert Francis. And Robert Francis is on record saying, hell yeah, we're going to get your ARs and your AKs. But again, the sweetie Christian, Rich, says it doesn't matter who's in office. Jesus is Lord. Tell that to the Jews, man, back in pre-Nazi Germany. Tell that to the Russians under Stalin's reign of death. Tell that to the innocent people in Cambodia that fell under the boot of the Khmer Rouge. And also parlay your thoughts, dear sweet Christian, that it doesn't matter who's in office, to the Chinese that were liquidated under Chairman Mao. That's right. This is so stupid, so lame. You think you're so spiritual, and by saying all these little subtly nuanced stuff that it's just Jesus in the kingdom, and you're, I don't know if you're doing it deceptively, folks, Christians, Tim Keller, John Piper. I don't know if you're really that daft to think that these policies that these evil leaders are going to legislate, and they're going to strap on our heads like a flippin' Orwellian rat cage that it's really not going to matter how we worship, you're cuckoo. I don't even understand, Rich, that level of
I have one name for
daftness.
these people to wake up to throw in on your point, Doug. Gavin Newsom,
Ooh.
governor of California.
Who John MacArthur called pure evil and satanic, and he prayed for his salvation, Rich, and he also said, if he doesn't repent, do a Psalm 109 verse 8 on him.
There you go. And I read this morning that he lost a court case and that they're rolling back some of his crazy stuff. But a guy like that, it doesn't matter what he is able to do right now. What matters is his intent. His intent is to stop us from worshiping in our homes, to stop us from meeting with other believers, to stop people from gathering. Unless you're just burning down, no problem. Conservatives getting together, super spreaders for COVID-19.
Amen.
Riots and stuff, get you a new TV, man.
Yep.
No problem at all. This kind of stuff, Doug, I am finished. If Trump wins, I will be stockpiling and preparing for the next season of when this country jumps off. And you know what? I'm not going to be a victim. Matter of fact, when this country goes crazy, Doug, I'm not going to be looking to defend my home. I'm going to be looking to expand. I'm going to spread out. I'm going to get me some more land. We're going to make the Wild West wild again. If they want wild, I think the worst thing they ever did is start jumping this stuff up, making it so hot like it is now. When they were slow rolling it, all the good people were waiting to see if things would calm down or if the government would handle it. But if they jump off, all the good patriots are going to jump up and say, now we have to fight. If you make us fight, Doug, oh man, why stop there? Let's get it all. Let's take it. Let's get some.
So it's 11:25 a.m. Central Time on November 4th, 2020. So because we're doing the podcast, I'm not watching the fake news to see what they're predicting. So I don't know if Michigan's been called. I don't know if Wisconsin's been called. Doug, you don't know, man. And but here's something that a lot of people text me today. Doug, what are you thinking? Are you crying? Are you sad? Where are you?
I know I always text you to ask you what you think is going on.
So here's something that the left always, and I text this out to my buddies and stuff. I said the left always celebrates too soon. It's like, aha, we got him in this Ukrainian.
I have to interrupt you. I want you to carry on with that because this is what you're saying. The left celebrates too soon. Mm-hmm. Brian Fournier just tweeted, Arizona's back in play. Many votes left to be counted. Go ahead.
Okay.
Because that's right now, and that's what you were saying. Sorry.
Yeah. So they thought that they had Trump in this Ukrainian thing where he congratulated the guy on his victory, and that was going to be the impeachable offense. And then you had the Steele dossier, Russian collusion, Russia. We've got him. We've got to impeach him. And then, Stormy Daniels is going to bring him down with, what was that creepy porn lawyer's name? Mike Avenatti.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, he's in prison. And
weird, right? How come I haven't seen that on the news? Go ahead.
Yeah, so you got the Ukraine scandal, you got Russian collusion, you got Stormy Daniels, and then you saw the insane war on Brett Kavanaugh and how they were like, we've got him by the short and curlies. He'll never, be seated at the Supreme Court, and boom, there it is. He is. And it's like they always end up with egg on their face, brother. So I'm sticking with Trump succeeding. And I don't care if anybody says, you're wrong. I'm still holding out for that because they're always wrong. They always celebrate way too soon. They trotted frickin' half-dead, sleepy, creepy Joe out there last night to try to slow walk a victory lap. And then you had, all the news agencies, yes, Trump. And it's going to be hard for me to forgive you, Fox News. And they're pushing the whole...
I'm not forgiving them. They suck.
So they're pushing the narrative. Biden's got it. He's the one. Not quite the blue wave that the polls pointed out, but anyway. And then Biden trots out, and then everybody is, just completely dilapidated on the right and those who love freedom. And they've done this before, man. They've done this before. They've celebrated way too soon. They thought that they got him, and then he frickin' does the Lazarus Project, and he resurrects like Deadpool, and he's back in black. So that's what I'm holding out for, big dog.
Yep. And another thing too, Doug, exactly, because you were talking about all those votes that came in, over 100,000 votes, and every single one of them for Biden, right? That they just found.
Mm-hmm.
You can't generate 100,000 votes without somebody talking. Somebody will say something. It will come out.
Oh, there's going to be undercover video. There's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Because
gonna,
somebody's going to get paid,
Right.
bro. Imagine if you're a Democrat, and if you're a Democrat, you're just a sellout anyway, right? You're just an opportunist trash bag walking on the planet, sucking up air. And so if they see an opportunity to get paid, come on, man.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to sell that.
Yeah, and paging James O'Keefe, please put some of your sleuths on these Democrats with these miracle ballots and see if they'll yap. If anybody else is doing that undercover lover type stuff, yeah, head on over to Michigan. Take a ride over to Wisconsin and try to bury yourself within that. And then it gets tossed to the Supreme Court that is kind of leaning. I know Justice Roberts completely screwed us, but it's still a 5-4 split in favor of this thing called the law and the Constitution, the Bill of Rights.
Is it 6-3 or is it 5-4?
It's 6-3, but again, Roberts, you can't,
true.
What?
True.
Well, you can predict what he's going to do, and it's going to be the exact opposite of what we thought. He would legislate.
Well, Keith Olbermann, you saw his little rant, right?
Yeah, that's some unhinged stuff, man. I know you and I run hot, but that's some cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs type. Scrape your frontal lobe.
Share with the Warriors and Wildman just an idea, a little bit, maybe an example, a little bit of some of the stupid stuff that idiot was saying.
I think one of the most again, going back to the little pastors, Piper, Keller, and their ilk. Doesn't matter. These guys that sit and host TV shows that gullible goober Americans sit there and watch and digest. He called for the extermination of Trump voters, and when you watch that video, he's not speaking hyperbolically. I trade in hyperbole, Rich. I don't think what's his name?
Olbermann.
Yeah, Keith Olbermann. I don't think Keith Partridge, man, is kidding when he says we not only need to purge the cancer of Trump from the nation, but those dastardly supporters of him, they need to be exterminated.
He was talking about prosecuting the people that were helping him get elected. Mm-hmm. What the heck is that, bro? That's like straight Russia stuff. Mm-hmm. Like that's Germany, Nazi Germany crazy. Like that's crazy talk.
So here's I'm looking for a silver lining from last night. So I'm holding out that they're rejoicing way too soon. It's way too boisterous. And their little happy dance, just like they've had with Kavanaugh, with Stormy Daniels, with Ukraine, with Russian collusion, all the other stuff that they, played gotcha with on Trump, they ended up looking like a dumbass with egg on their face. So I'm holding out for that. God willing, we retain the Senate, okay? And Amy Coney Barrett, she is a Supreme Court justice. I think she's the prettiest one of them all, but all conservative women are. And here's another thing, man. When everybody says it doesn't matter, again, Piper, Keller, and their ilk, that it's just about Jesus and stuff. If Joe Biden, if he gets or steals or whatever this, and he's in the White House and he starts legislating at the behest of the squad, then here's what's going to happen, folks. You're going to see our nation go down the crapper. And it's going to be 4 years, like I said, from a national security standpoint, from a border security standpoint, from an economic vantage point. We're going to feel some serious pain, which will make a 2024 election swing completely back to the right, and we'll get a Donald Trump Jr. or a I don't know, Alan West or some pipe
Yeah.
hit, some pipe hitting nut cutter, man, that doesn't play. And that could be the thing that permanently tilts our nation back to, again, this thing called freedom and liberty. So we might be in for a 4-year ass kicking, brother.
Yeah. Well, I agree with that. Those are good thoughts. I also and I know you agree with this, but Jesus is on the throne. None of this catches him off guard. None of it catches him by surprise. His will's going to be done. It's not a fatalistic mentality, but what we want is his will to be done, and his will is that the most people that could be saved would be saved. And this country, prosperity type Christianity, which doesn't export well to third world countries, especially churches around the world that are being persecuted because it's not biblical. But and I'm not saying that we shouldn't be blessed, but I'm talking about people who live in that kind of wonderful, everything's just great. It produces the weakest kind of Christian if they are Christians, right? And so from a spiritual perspective, when I look at it, I think tough times might make tough Christians and better churches. Maybe it's a wake-up call. I'm not hoping for it. I'm not some kind of, I'm not asking for pain and suffering and trials, and there's surely enough of those. But I'll tell you what. God is in charge. Jesus is on the throne. Our cause and our mission is still the same. It doesn't change. Gutfield, I got his name right that time. I remember what he said. He said, the interesting thing about the difference between liberals and conservatives is this. If Biden wins, he said the conservatives will go to church and go to work and spend time with their families. And he said go do their hobbies. He said because politics is not their whole life. And he said that's the problem with the liberals, is that they've ruined sports, they've ruined education, they've ruined everything with politics because it is the base of their entire world. So if they don't win, their whole world is wrecked. That's why they freak out and act like idiots, screaming and crying in the streets. Because their whole world's built around that. And I agree with that. You know what? We're Christians, man. We were born for such a time as this. And whether it's a time of look, if Trump wins, then we need to take that as a wake-up call. We need to be about the kingdom business. You know what I mean? Like Jesus said, I got to be about my Father's business. We need to get about the business. And if Biden won, then we need to get about the business. It doesn't change our cause. And so does the election affect us? 100%. Are we interested? 100%. But guess what? We have an eternal focus. Our focus is much farther than the United States. So that's what I think about that with where we're at today.
Yeah, and here's another biblical pattern. What's funny, man, is that, so we got the Cigar and Sermon event coming up this weekend. And Mary Margaret and I were talking about a message that we had parlayed to our fresh noggins when we were wee little lads in the kingdom. And how it's really kept me in bad times from becoming apostate, joining some kind of rebel anti-God movement because I didn't get my squeaky toy when I thought Jesus should have provided it for me. Mm-hmm. When I've done stupid things, when I've just gone into dark places, by my own doing or by satanic attack or by God just saying, you know what? You need a time out for the next 10 years. When darkness hits people, and again, I don't think Biden is going to be a blessing to the United States, but
No.
if he gets into the office, we'll see. But anyway, I think we could be in for some turbulent waters and some troubled times, but there's a pattern in Genesis where God's creating and he wants to bring forth something new, something better in quality and quantity and kind. And he starts his creative process in Genesis 1, starting, I think I preached it at your place too at the men's conference. He starts his day with night. It says there's evening and morning, and it was the first day. Evening and morning, second day. Evening and morning, third day. So what's my point? Well, when things get dark, don't think it's the end of the world. Don't think that, like you said, Jesus isn't on the throne anymore, and he didn't see this coming, just like he didn't see the COVID plague coming. and that now we ought to, just scramble and scuttlebutt and try to, eke out this existence before the rapture happens. No, God's creating. God creates in darkness. And he says in Isaiah 45, verse 3, that he'll give you treasures out of that darkness. So when darkness comes to a people, to the church, or to the nation, I mean, you look at some of the grossest darkness that ever occurred in the medieval times and stuff, and it brought forth the Reformation, brought forth, this incredible, viable access to God and the Scripture that had not existed, and it was yielded up in darkness. And also remember that if God takes something away, it's in order to establish something better. He took away Moses, he took away the old covenant, he took away the ministry of angels, and he brought forth Christ's covenant and the distribution of the Holy Spirit. Now, when you're losing stuff, it's like, hey, don't take that away from me. It doesn't feel good. You're comfortable with it. You've gotten cocky and stuff, but God's like, I got to grow you, so I got to prune you back. I'm going to take this away from you in order to establish this in you. So again, if there's a removal of Trump, being a Christian, sure as hell aren't a victim. You're a king's kid. You're under his covenant. He's going to give you hinds feet on high places if things should get rocky. And so darkness is something that creates, and he might need to put a few more ingredients, old rich, old buddy, old pal, in the soup of the American church and the American collective. That'll never make us look at Marxist radical and say, it doesn't matter, it's just politics. You might need to learn
really
it.
good.
You might need to learn in this dark time, it's not just politics.
It's really good. Really good.
Hey,
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I want to distinguish between the two. So I love people, and I love broken people, love liberal people. I love them. I want them to be saved. Okay? So I wanted to preface this statement with that. I'm disgusted with the United States of America. Disgusted. Like I'm literally spiritually and morally grossed out. That we could even have a conversation between two people like that. Not even the people, forget the people, the policies. That half of our country wants this garbage, Doug. I can't even relate. Like the United States used to be a light to the world, and we're quickly losing that. And I used to say we're the greatest country in the world, but we're losing that. Half of the people in the U.S. still represent that constitutional, that God Christian base, the morally correct. They still represent that, but half of our country is 100% against it. Not just different.
Right.
Well, you think different. No, they are anti-constitutional. They're anti-American. And so America is quickly turning into a disgusting place. And so I'm disgusted. I'm actually embarrassed. And if this country turns, unless the Lord tells me stay right here and just preach the gospel because you're in a dark nation where I want you to be, I would totally leave. If this country, and I'm not trying to be like these stupid celebrities. I'm telling you, I don't want to live in a country that's like this, that has become like this.
Yeah, but there's nowhere to go.
And I probably will. No,
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be looking for a better place. It would be a statement,
Right.
But God's not going to let me do it anyway.
Yeah,
But-
I'm called.
but
I'm called
that's
to.
my point.
Yeah, I'm called to the U.S. and I'm going to ride the storm out no matter where it goes. And like we said, we serve one epic, rich, badass, and I use that in the most holy, sacrosanct terms, Lord and Savior. He's King of Kings and Lord of
Yep.
Lords, and I believe he's got a sword that comes out of his mouth, and he
Yeah.
tramples out the winepress with the fierce wrath of God if you're on the wrong side of his business. But here's what happened, man. It's like, how did this happen? And I know you know this. And Zeke sent a great, our producer Zeke sent a great post over, texted yesterday that I thought was just fabulous, as Perez Hilton would say. We gave our kids to Caesar, and we're shocked that they turned out to be Romans. You put your kids in public school,
Yep.
and listen, guys, Bill Ayers, Bernadine Dorn, full-on crazy Marxist radical terrorists that were bombing federal courts and the Capitol building. They did time for it. They're like, well, this bombing stuff really, it's really not convincing too many people. What shall we do? Let's become educators. And then, we keep thinking, because we like to live in an idyllic wonder world, Rich, of Mayberry RFD and pixie dust and candy canes, that the school that we went to when we were young'uns is the same stuff that we're sending our children to nowadays. It's not. They're not teaching Constitution. They're not teaching American greatness. They're not teaching the Bill of Rights. They're not teaching any of that stuff. They're full on teaching entitlement, America bad, and you need to fight the man in the machine. And then boom, you have an election, and you see all of these people. And I don't even call them liberals, man. I don't even call them Democrats. They are full on Marxist Leninists.
Yep.
And we're wondering, why is my kid coming back, from college, got its tongue pierced and it's got 666 tattooed on his forehead, and he thinks occasional cortex is totes my goats. Well, you gave him to the devil, man. That's
yeah.
And now you're shocked. You're absolutely shocked that that's what your kid's now doing. So Zeke sends forth a text yesterday, a picture. So he's homeschooling his son. What's your son's name? Is it Isaiah?
Isaiah.
Yeah, so he sends forth a text like, I'm so glad I listened to y'all's advice and, bantering back and forth about the swill of public school system and what it's become, a branch of the Marxist radicals. And he's got this picture where his kid's doing homework.
How old is he, Zeke? 5? 6? 5. He's
yeah,
5. 5 years
5
old.
years old. He's studying, the Reformation, Luther's 95 Thesis that he put on Wittenberg Castle door. What 5-year-old, what 15-year-old, what 25-year-old, what 45-year-old even knows what the heck that's about? And I'm talking about evangelicals, man. So you got a 5-year-old doing that. He's learning about grace, faith, salvation.
Yeah, it says on the page, it literally says the 5 solas and had them listed out just right there.
Hell yeah,
I think
brother.
it's incredible.
Yeah, so again, parents, if there's any takeaway, obviously Rich and I really don't know. Rich and I really are firmly set in nothing less than Christ's blood and righteousness. And come what may, we want to be on the right side of God's business. Here's another takeaway. Homeschool your kids, or put them in a great Christian school, or put them in some school that still digs the United States and how this grand experiment in self-governance was founded. And stay free, be free, and stay rowdy.
Yep. And I'll tell you, I'm not deflated. I'm not depressed. I'm disgusted. But the reason I'm disgusted is the condition of our nation, not the election. I called it. Not that it was going to be who was going to win, whatever. I still believe that Trump is going to win. But I called it that it was going to be this kind of garbage because that's how the freaking leftists are. And you know what? They don't control me. They don't control my life. My life is, like you said, it's in Christ. Jesus is on the throne. He knows what's going on. I'm not bummed out. I'm not surprised. I hate. Sometimes I can be pretty negative, and I can be expecting bad things, and I try not to live in that mindset. But in this hour, it wasn't that I didn't want to get my hopes up. I had my hopes up. I was praying and believe. Yesterday I was praying for Trump that he would win. But you know what? We're born for this, Doug. This is what we're born for. We're born for the toughest times, the greatest times, the mountains and the valleys, the fields, the plains. It doesn't matter. Wherever the Lord leads us, I'm ready to go. I'd rather be in the worst place with Jesus than in the greatest place without him. I mean, I have no interest in anything outside of God's will for my life. I'm not interested. And so if the Lord said, which I'm not saying the Lord is saying this, but if the Lord said, Biden is my will because that's what's up right now. Okay, well, bring it on. Let's do what we're going to do. Doesn't mean I have to like Biden. Doesn't mean I have to like anybody who supports him. But I'll tell you what, I want to sign up for God's will. So whatever it is, I'm down. I'm never down for the count, and I'm always down for the cause. That's what it's about.
Beautiful. So what do the Warriors and Wild Men listener, what do they need to do, Rich, on this post-election Warriors and Wild Men podcast?
Get some balls.
Quickly.
Get a Bible. Actually, different order. Get your Bible, get your balls, and then get after Jesus. That's the first thing. And then go to warriorsandwildmen.com. Subscribe, like us, love us. If you want to help us push this message out, hit the war chest. help us do that. And some of you guys are doing that. We appreciate it. We can't even tell you how much we appreciate your support. And it helps us to do a better job and be able to get the message out to more people. Warriors and Wildmen.